Hey guys, we are back, still in September, hopefully. I don't know, again, I'm scheduling some of these videos out. Every other day in September, we are doing high-level hero guides, and my goal is to keep this up throughout all of September. Today we're going to be watching, this is old from Method Madness. Again, it's different tournaments for each one of these events that I'm doing. This one we're going to be looking at Dino playing Tracer in Method Madness. And we've talked about Mockery's Tracer before. Mockery's one of the best Tracer players in North America. But let's look at a Tracer player in Europe. And the way that he prioritizes things is the reason why I want to share this. Also, I also want to point out that... He's running with Malfurion, which Malfurion is one of my favorite healers with Tracer, because you can throw a healing over time on Tracer, and Tracer has 20 seconds to be aggressive and just get big heals the whole time, even if she gets a little far away from the enemies. So I really like running Malfurion with Tracer. I think that's a really solid combo. It's really nice to be able to have those big heals and constant heals throughout the entire thing. So let's talk about this a little bit. But before we do, we have a sponsor, LastPass. Last password you'll ever use. I've talked about different stories on why I recommend LastPass, but essentially LastPass is just a program where you put in one password no matter what website you go to, and that it will automatically put in the other password, or it will give you the option to copy and paste a password, or if you pay for premium, sometimes it automatically does it for applications like Steam and Battle.net. But it's completely free if you just want to do it for fun. Now, before I go more on about LastPass, I want to point out that he uses Pulse Bomb on cams, he uses Pulse Bomb on structures, he uses Pulse Bomb on like everything. But back to LastPass. Again, if you have 40 different passwords, it gets hard to remember all of them, and you constantly have to change your passwords all the time, so that saves time on that. And if you use the same password on 40 different websites, and if any one of those websites get hacked, then it kind of feels like all of your websites got hacked. And the evil hackers aren't going to tell you, evil hackers, right? But they're not going to tell you that they hacked that. And again, he uses Pulse Bomb on waves, camps, whatever. Because if he's not expecting to have a fight and actually get a kill anytime soon, he doesn't want to waste any time. So he uses Pulse Bomb so much. Yeah, so guys, click the link down below if you want to try out LastPass. It's completely free. I highly recommend checking out Premium. You can always upgrade later, and if you do end up upgrading, then it helps the channel out. If not, I'm just sharing a cool free program for you guys that whether or not it helps me out, it should help you guys out, because I use LastPass and it's pretty good, especially since like on Guild Wars. I don't know if you guys play Guild Wars 1 or 2. It's kind of just an extra game that I play. I'm never really going to make any content for the game, but if you guys ever play Guild Wars, you can never use an old password, and so I always forget what my old password was, and I can't change the password to be any of your old passwords. So my password keeps changing to be something more and more ridiculous each time, to the point that I don't even care what the password is anymore, because I know I'm just going to have to change it. Well, it's really nice in a game like Guild Wars to not have to change my password every time. So that's a lot about LastPass, and you can see a little bit of what Dino does there. And he goes straight in, takes out someone. Whoa, that was interesting, but ends up getting taken out. He immediately kills their healer, and that's going to be a theme for this game. He's going to try to take out the healer almost every game, and it's going to be something that we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of, is him focusing on taking out the healer quite a bit, because Ana is one of those healers who does not have a lot of self-healing. So if you jump on her and she doesn't get peel, there's a really good chance that she's going to die. But most heroes can't get to an Ana because she has such long range that she's so far back in fights that Tracer's one of the few people who can get to her. And trading one of your damage dealers for a kill on a healer means that your team still has a damage dealer, but their team doesn't have a healer, so it's usually more beneficial. So, early portions of the game, he's focusing on macro, prioritizing waves and camp clear, and once we get to the first objective, he dives in the back and tries to take out the enemy healer or the enemy assassin where he can, and he doesn't really prioritize anything other than that. And that's how he's playing Tracer. He goes back, he gets a healing over time, he dives into their backline, quickly takes out one target, and then comes back to his team, and he goes back and starts focusing on macro, something that a lot of Tracer players don't do. Even some of the best mechanical Tracer players don't do as much macro as Dino does. Making it to where, again, even if he's not the best Tracer player, he's such a good player that when he's playing Tracer, he still can account for everything that his team needs. And I hope you guys have been noticing a pattern about a lot of the players I've been doing videos on. They cover the deficits of their team, even if they're on heroes that normally don't do that very well. Tracer's wave clear is not that great, but he'll just throw an ult out. You know, he'll definitely do what needs to be done, and he even is doing some shot calling as well. So it's just a little bit of everything on there. He throws his ult out to make sure that Misha gets taken out, and then he'll quickly charge back up his ult by simply auto-attacking and getting his W's out. With that, he goes right back to a camp, and let's talk about his talents for a little bit. So, level 1, he takes 1-2 punch, reduce the cooldown of melee by 1 second, and gains an additional charge. Remember that your melee gives a decent amount of ult charge, so it's a pretty good talent to pick up to be able to have those extra melees, and it does go on just a 2-second cooldown in between charges, so you don't get like 2 quick bursts, but you can get like a burst and then like kind of move your way back in and get another burst. Then we have the Pulse Generator. Pulse Bomb heals Tracer and refreshes Blink charges. So it's just 1 charge of Blink, and it heals you for 25% of your max health. So it's a great talent if you're going to be throwing ults as often as Dino is. Then we go with Locked and Loaded. Now, if you're good with this talent, it's pretty much just a flat 40% damage boost permanently. If you're not good with this talent, though, I generally recommend Sleight of Hand just because it's just a little bit easier. So, if you're just learning Tracer, I would recommend Sleight of Hand for just a little while. Once you get a good portion of how Tracer plays down, then you're going to want to practice the mechanics of Locked and Loaded. But in the competitive scene, you're going to see Tracers almost always go Locked and Loaded, with a very small subset of Tracers going Sleight of Hand. Sticky Bomb increases Pulse Bomb's radius by 50%, and enemies hit are slowed by 70%. So you're going to see these huge slows being applied to people like their Garrosh, as well as people like their Ana, and even sometimes their Hanzo throughout this game. This talent is a little bit off from the meta, where the majority of Tracers are taking Quantum Spike against people like Garrosh, and they're taking Pulse rounds in just about every other situation. So having Dino going Sticky Bomb is definitely a unique thing to Dino, and something that we don't see very often. So I really like Sticky Bomb because it just gets a ton of value when it does work. And I say that because it's not always the best option, but when it does work, it's huge. I mean, a 70% slow is closing in on root territory, and the size of the radius is big enough that it either zones out a good group of people or it slows a huge group of people, which is why it's just a really, really powerful ability and talent anyways. But you can see, overall, Dino goes back, gets a heal, pressures their backline, and then goes back to macro. And it's just that same process. Every second of Dino's time is being used efficiently. He hasn't backed at all during this game. He just simply will attack to gain his life back. And he's looking to see if anyone rotates up the aggressive path. They all rotate the safe paths, and he goes safely back to where he needs to go, and decides whether or not he has the damage to quickly kill Rexxar. He realizes that he doesn't, and he just ends up going for Misha, quickly taking out Misha, and now they don't need to worry about Misha during this. With the build that Rexxar is going, that's going to remove essentially his level 7 talent, and also the extra benefits of having that Rexxar. Like the extra stuns, the extra body, just tanking things. I mean, it's just really good in general. And then, again, goes into their backline, pressures their healer, zones their healer out of position, and then immediately starts pressuring this Tassadar. Doing a good amount of damage. He's doing nowhere near the amount of damage that Tassadar is doing, but at the same time, he did still do quite a bit to giving his team that objective. Now, at this point, they've lost 2 people. There's no world that they win this objective. And remember, he's using his time efficiently. So he's going to immediately go and try to push out at bottom lane so he can gain his health bar back, and he can gain value value in a lane that the enemy team is not in. He's going to use his W off cooldown, and he's going to make sure that he's still using his trait and activating that locked and loaded. He's going to gain all of his health back on this wave and also get a wave of soak that the enemy team most likely won't be able to get. He's going to continue double soaking, so even when they do lose an objective, he's still very valuable for the team. Level 13, he takes Jumper, another talent that's a little unique to him, I would say, or just a little different from what we've been seeing. Generally, we see Untouchable for the extra 30% damage and the extra movement speed after Blinks, where he goes Jumper. When Blink has no charges, it refreshes 125% faster. Casting Blink grants Tracer a small shield, and that shield stacks 3 times. The shield lasts 3 seconds, so it is something that it can be rather valuable. But that's again because the playstyle of what he wants to do is he wants to go into the backline, pressure their healer, and maybe not even try to take out their healer quickly, but when he does pressure them, he wants to be able to follow them for a little while because he's slowing them by 70%, so he wants to be able to follow them for a little while. And so Leoric ends up getting taken out here, and their team is not looking good right now. It's going to be really difficult for their team to try to close this game out and even catch up. But it's gonna be a close one. I mean, it could be a close one anyways, but we'll see is what I'll say. But they're definitely behind. So once again, what do you see him do? You see him go and start double soaking for his team, where his team is trying to deal with objectives or deal with pushes or whatever. Every single time that he realizes that this fight is over, he doesn't try to suicide to like get 1 kill out of the fight. He tries to get value somewhere. And he does this every time, and every time he's doing what he can to keep his team in the game. 6,000 experience contributed from a ranged assassin is really good. And I mean, Tastar's doing it because he has a little bit more wave clear, so he can double soak really well. Tracer really can't double soak that well, but she's still doing whatever she can, or at least it's Dino, he's a streamer, doing whatever he can to be able to get that extra value. Now, there's that Rexar that's pushing down bot lane. Rexar has taken a few Misha talents, which means even if he kills Misha here, it's really valuable. But if he decides to go for the Rexar, he actually can be very, very effective at taking out Rexar because he gets those shields every time that he blinks, and Rexar is going to have to damage through the shield and damage through the extra healing. And if he uses his last blink to get a big shield, he gets his blink back even faster because of that talent. So where he is losing the potential of 30% damage, he does have the potential to chase people a little bit further, go a little bit better in 1v1 situations, and pressure the backline a little bit more at a safer rate. Level 16, we have Heavy-Handed. Heavy-Handed makes it to where heroes hit by melee have their armor reduced by 15 for 4 seconds, increasing the damage that Tracer does, as well as her entire team by 15% when she uses a melee. First melee will probably happen very fast, and remember that she heals for a portion of the damage that she deals, so by reducing the enemy armor, you're also effectively increasing your own healing. Ricochet also does that, but Heavy-Handed will do it to a smaller extent, but it's still very beneficial. Bullet Spray was picked for a lot of people playing Tracer that have to cover the wave clear for their team, but being a level 16 talent makes it a lot worse for wave clear, and at this point it's not really picked that often, so Heavy-Handed is definitely a really solid option when you're just trying to focus the same targets that your team's focusing. As far as pressuring their backline, it's not going to be that big of a difference, but when you are focusing the same targets your team's focusing, it will be very valuable. Now, he wants to make sure that he can get that heal from Malfurion first. He sees the heal coming out, and now watch. He starts going forward, ends up throwing an ult that hits a minion, unfortunately. So he's going to have to charge up that ult a lot faster. He gets slept. A great call from his team. He asks for assistance, and then there's a big silence arrow coming out from Sylvanas, which allows him to survive the burst that's about to happen, as well as Tranquility that's going to keep him up through any extra damage. And now he just needs to go quickly kill the bear, which is going to remove 2 talents from Rexar, and he still needs to find a way to pressure further. This Garrosh is absolutely dominating by just going into their backline though, and once again he loses this objective. And this is becoming a challenge, right? He's getting a lot of damage off, but they can't really pressure the Garrosh without taking the percent health damage talent. But Garrosh also isn't getting down to that last 10% either for very long, so Quantum Spike isn't that valuable. There is a good chance that he's spending too much time dealing with Rexar's bear, but when he went for the backline, he was always getting jumped on. So there's that idea of, if you do the same thing over and over and over, the enemies are going to eventually catch on to what you're doing. So if he really wants to succeed at taking out Ana every fight, he's going to have to wait and not do it for a few fights so that people don't expect and try to peel. And then he's going to have to suddenly do it on a fight that's really important. While I felt like that last fight was really important, there's a chance that they didn't really believe it was that important. And again, he's keeping his team in the game. He stayed alive after a failed fight. He saved his keep, and he could have peeled or whatever. But right now they've got that level 18 to level 19, so they kind of want to force a fight here. But they're playing against a solid team. The team's not just going to let them do that. Maka, Swamp Groot, Burgle, Gallon the Gunner, these are all old pro players. They're not going to let him just step up and get any free kills or anything like that. And they're not going to let them step up and just get that forced level 20 fight. So instead, this is going to end up being a pretty tricky situation. Level 20s to level 18s, he's going to try to get some experience. Leorick's going to try to get some experience. He could join this fight down here, but you almost don't want to, right? If you join this fight down here, there's a good chance you're going to get blown up by level 20 talents. Ooh, that was close. Almost got slept and then taunted and killed. But in this case, he's doing his best, but there's only so much you can do in this situation. Now, what is he going to try to get at level 20? And we've seen him hold his own. We've seen him stay alive in a lot of these situations that could have been really, really bad. We've seen, even though he's lost objectives, he's still gained a lot of value. And we've still seen that he is able to sneak backliners and get a pretty quick kill where he needs to. But we haven't seen a point where him playing Tracer has led to something incredible that's been game-changing. Playing Tracer did allow them to win that first objective and also take out that Ana. But other than that, we still haven't seen an opportunity that he's done anything that's absolutely mind-blowing, right? Nothing that's been like, wow, that's the reason that he picked Tracer here. Approaching level 20. Now, with Tracer's scaling and this talent Get Stuffed, increases the melee pulse bomb's charge against a hero by 12 to 24%. Hitting an enemy with a melee who's stuck by pulse bomb causes the bomb to instantly explode and knock the target back. With 2 charges of your W and an ult that explodes very slow, you can definitely get an extra explosion and knockback. It could be a really powerful technique to get a bunch of ults off, but we'll definitely see if it gets really any value from here. This is looking to be the last objective, and unfortunately, it's only going to get a fort for them, which is looking really bad for their team. But they still have a chance, and it's going to come down to how this fight plays out and what Dino can do here. So Dino immediately goes in their back line. He immediately does the Get Stuffed, and he forces their team to not have a healer for almost this entire fight because he zoned out the healer. Because the healer was zoned out, Leorick was able to get a lot of value off of the Ominous Wraith, lowering the enemy's damage, and they are able to trade 1-for-1, except for they traded for the Leorick, who can come back to life a little bit faster and give them vision on this objective. After that, he has very low cooldowns, so he's trying to get his Pulse Bomb back available so he could do that one more time onto the enemy Ana. And if he can zone out the enemy Ana for one more fight, they'll be able to have the Leorick up before the enemy tank's available. And if he can get it right, he might even be able to set up a fight that can get his team a kill onto possibly this Archon or maybe this Ana. So he's actually just going to take out Namisha very quickly. He's going to use his first charge of W to force out the stasis. He's going to quickly drop down the the what's his name, and then the Ana, and then he's also going to use the Pulse Bomb and completely wipe the enemy team. They don't even need the objective, and I've talked about this multiple times. At level 20, all you need to do is destroy the sidewall, go for the keep, and close out the game. You never, if you wipe an enemy team at level 20, the average team comp can close out the game right through a keep at any given moment. So where he kept his team up during some of the worst team fights that I've seen in these ranks, he was not only able to keep his team equal in experience, he was also able to zone out the enemies when he needed to. He was able to defend down level 20s, but the real impact was his ability to quickly zone out in a fight that was a losing fight, followed up by going back in, by charging up his next ult, and taking out 3 quick people, and they were able to close out the game on his play. So, ultimately, he definitely could have gotten more value in the earlier portions of the game, but his play in the late portion of the game was incredible. I think he overcommitted to just attacking Misha. I think his goal was to charge his ult off of Misha and then charge in the back and try to get an ult play, but his team was never really getting enough damage on anyone that even if he landed an ult play in the back line, he wouldn't have gotten any value out of it. So his idea just did not really correlate with what their team was actually accomplishing in those fights. But overall, I did want to share that you can do macro on Tracer, and that's perfectly fine, but only do it when there's nothing left to do with your team. So hopefully this gives you guys a playstyle of Tracer that you can emulate, because it is a pretty fun playstyle of Tracer. I personally don't really like Get Stuffed, but it does have a lot of value in team fights if you're good at it, and if you can constantly get the value out of Get Stuffed, Sticky Bomb, as well as Pulse Generator. You can blow someone up, slow them by 70%, gain 25% of your health back, and then quickly gain like charge of your ult back, because you're going to ult and then get 24% of your ult back because you're going to trigger it. Then you're going to move closer, heal for 25%, do another W, and you'll gain 50% of your ult back between those two. And then getting that last little bit is rather easy, especially when you can just take someone out and you have the lower cooldowns on everything. It's a weird playstyle. It is one of those playstyles where if you are behind, you don't get punished, because even if you die, you don't lose any stacks. And if you're ahead, it's still a valuable thing because you're slowing people by huge percentages and you can just chase them down. So it's a build that if you're behind, it's good. It's better than any other build. And if you're ahead, it's still good. So I think this is a good build for players to practice if you want to play an aggressive yet also calculated version of Tracer. So thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Make sure to subscribe. Hit the little bell so you get notified when I bring out new videos, because all this month, every other day, we are getting a high-level hero guide, and I'm trying to focus on heroes that I haven't done too many guides on recently, so make sure to check those out. This was Method Madness, and also check out LastPass, link in the description down below. Thank you guys so much.